Well, all right. Hello, everyone, and now welcome to a game, Moon versus KraV. This game taking place here on Last Refuge. Wait, why did it stop? Oh, because I hit pause. Moon versus KraV taking place here on Last Refuge. Moon spawning as the blue Night Elf player on the top right-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, KraV, well, if I can get my camera right, spawning over here on the bottom left. Night Elf versus Undead in a 1v1 matchup, and this is my first game casting with patch 1.35. I mentioned in the patch video that that there was a survey out there for select few who could give feedback on WarCraft 3 Reforged, and actually combing through my email, I actually did receive the survey and filled it out. I suggest you guys check your email that is associated with your Battle.net account and see if you received that survey as well. And, well, show that you still absolutely care about WarCraft 3. Now, with that said, I am, well, adjusting my light because my light just fell. I wanted to take a look at this Night Elf versus Undead matchup because of the multitude of changes that were brought to Undead. It's no surprise that Undead does seemingly have a very, very strong advantage over Human, but in a 4-race real-time strategy game, trying to adjust one matchup means that you also adjust all the other matchups as well. Will the changes to the Death Knight's Unholy Aura movement speed and also the Obsidian statue mana and Obsidian statue level make a big difference? All right, coming back off to the north here, Keeper of the Grove already out on the battlefield. Going to go ahead and clear out this Ancient of War, or excuse me, clear out this creep camp with this Ancient of War. Meanwhile, Death Knight off to the south by KraV. Going to, well, clear out some creep camps, perhaps, get some skeletal minions out, and then follow it up eventually with some sort of fast expansion, since he did sell that Scroll of Town portal and picked up a Sacrificial Skull. Also, another thing to note, heroes only cost 400 gold from now on instead of 425, making it so that the races that actually play with multiple heroes get a little bit of a gold benefit overall. That Murloc Nightcrawler spreading the poison around to multiple targets, as we're looking at all of these units getting cleared up pretty easily and quickly. Murloc Nightcrawler going to end up getting taken down there. Slippers of Agility picked up by the Keeper of the Grove, who is in fact sitting at level 2. Are we going to perhaps see a quick Ancient of War uprooting? No, we are not. No clearing of the Rock Golem creep camp. Meanwhile, KraV going after this Ogre Magi creep camp here and gonna get detonated, losing quite a bit of mana as we see additional ghouls now heading on over. KraV actually benefiting right there, bringing the ghouls over before it was necessary, as we now see the Acolyte already in position here, gonna perhaps try to summon up a Ziggurat, as the first earlier Wisp was already taken care of with that detonation. We could be looking at the haunting of a gold mine as well, and upgrading to a Nerubian Tower. Meanwhile, the Keeper of the Grove does want to get some harassment in, perhaps try and take down a ghoul or two if given the right opportunity. All right, going after this ghoul there. 1 or 2 more shots. Treant's going to come alive, going to take down that ghoul as the Keeper of the Grove gets a quick kill there. Nerubian Tower already upgrading, halfway done. Coming back on the other side, you can see that that Sacrificial Dagger getting in some regeneration across all of those ghouls, but more importantly on that Death Knight, who is currently, well, chasing after that Keeper of the Grove now. Excuse me, off to the north, we do have a tech to tier 2 already halfway underway, and we should be going into, well, I believe, Ancients of Lore, and we'll see what comes of this. Keeper of the Grove, remember, does also have improved Thorns aura, so that may be something worth training or transitioning into a little bit later, as the Death Knight actually gets trapped in this position here. All right, beautifully done here, trying to keep, oh nope, unable to keep that one Death Knight completely surrounded. Let's see, another 4 units surround using that Entangle, as the Archer may try and Shadow Meld here. Death Knight, Death Coil onto the Keeper of the Grove. Death Knight is in trouble, down to 197 hit points, taking quite a bit of damage. Who's going to fall first? Keeper of the Grove does not fall, uses Scroll Scroll of Town Portal. Death Knight about to fall down to 57 hit points, and he ends up surviving. KraV lucking out there. No ritual dagger any longer. Gonna go ahead and summon up some more skeletal minions, and well, hopefully be able to regenerate some hit points with the help of Blight and that Unholy Aura. All right, Wand of Illusion. Only 2 charges now. That was one of the changes. Unit now looking to retreat back here. We are looking at Huntresses now joining in on the fight here and gonna be able to, well, stop or put pressure onto this haunted gold mine as the Huntresses already are in position. All right, that was a pretty big transition overall, getting all of those Huntresses down and trained up and purposely keeping them back, completely catching KraV off guard as those Huntresses were sitting inside of the base and now absolutely being punished. Keeper of the Grove is going to be able to get a shot off on the Death Knight. No, it is not. It is still staying strong, able to heal up while on a Blight, and now going after this Force of Nature here. Death Knight still getting that classic regeneration. Keeper of the Grove, well, trying to finish off a ghoul here. Ghouls are trying to surround this Keeper of the Grove. Level 3 on the Death Knight. Death Knight gonna try and get a Death Coil off onto the Keeper of the Grove, but he leveled up in time to survive. Unholy Aura no longer on that, well, is on that ghoul, but will not be able to catch up to that Keeper of the Grove as we see, well, Ancient Protectors lining up the far side here. Does the Death Knight now try and go after this Keeper of the Grove, trying to get in some damage as that Keeper of the Grove going to get entangled off onto the Death Knight to buy just a little bit of time as the Ancient Protectors are getting set up here. All right, our Huntresses, are they going to try and go after these ghouls here? More and more Huntresses coming across, and this was not what I was expecting. Fast tech to tier 2 into Ancient Protectors. Are we perhaps going to be going into Nature's Blessing as well so that they have faster movement speed? They are moving very slow. They do not have Nature's Blessing at all, as they are now on the move here. Huntresses looking to use that glaive bounce damage, perhaps going to be able to shut down one Ziggurat as the ghouls are now out in a play as well, joining in on the battlefield. Haunted Goldmine nearly full saturation as the Keeper of the Grove being forced to, well, retreat back at the tavern. We do not see a second hero, even though we are at tier 2, as the Ancient Protectors are now going to, well, be rooting themselves into position. All right, gonna go ahead and clear things up. They do deal 26 to 33 damage while in that standing form, and that's pretty interesting. A weird spot to be in, as the Ancient Protectors are now just engaging against the buildings, allowing the Huntresses to perhaps get in quite a bit of damage here. Coming back across, we can see that there is a new necropolis being set up by KraV, trying to get the 6 o'clock base going. Moon's main base is actually very, very much wide open and could be open to a counterattack as the Altar of Darkness quickly taken down. KraV still at tier 1, as 2 Nerubian towers are not going to be enough to fend off this attack. Keeper of the Grove now trying to make its way back over, perhaps pick up a staff of teleportation as the Death Knight now heads off to the north. KraV going to come across here, try to get a surround on this Tree of Ages and turn this into a base race scenario, saying, you know what? I have one more base than you do. Can you really afford to do this? As the Keeper of the Grove now coming back across to try and save his main base. Death Knight being forced to stick around a little while longer. KraV does have one Forest Troll Berserker trying to get away. The Huntresses are going after those units pretty aggressively, as all of these ghouls could easily get cleaned up as well. Death Knight does have level 4, level 2 Unholy Aura, gonna help with that movement speed just a little bit more and more regeneration, but the Death Coils are still being landed onto that Keeper of the Grove, who's currently just trying to stay alive. Ghouls unable to reach that target, and this is the horrible spot for KraV to be in. A bunch of ranged units fighting behind an entangled goldmine and Hunter's Hall being able to stay at bay, and it looks as though KraV did go a bit too far. Death Knight continuing to retreat back here, as Moon is going to be able to hold on to this, as KraV now looks to retreat back. Death Knight perhaps going to go after one of these Huntresses, as the Ancient Protectors are slowly destroying what is left of that main base. One ghoul about to get taken down. Huntress is getting cleaned up at the Goblin Merchant Shop, as this game is not what I was expecting at all. Difficult to tell how the patch, if anything, has changed this matchup, but still an entertaining game nonetheless. Keeper of the Grove venturing over, is going to try to pick up a tavern hero, get some spray going, get some spray going from that goblin alchemist, but currently low on lumber. You can see so many low hit point huntresses who are just somehow still staying alive. Death Knight now nearby is going to go after any of those units. Death Coil straight up onto the Keeper of the Grove instead of going after any of those other units. Are we going to perhaps see a Force Troll Shadow Priest try to come across and get some heals on to that Death Knight? Death Knight is going to be able to stay alive. Death Knight holding steady at 139 and still staying alive here as the Force Troll Shadow Priest are there. There's an Abolish Magic. More damage racking up. That Force Troll Berserker racking up quite a bit of damage as the Keeper of the Grove falls at level 3. Slow onto a Huntress. Gets that taken down as well as the Death Knight. Now just Death Knight now shy of level 5. Ancient Protectors cleaning up the remainder of this base here as they now are engaging with their normal attacks. There is going to be a rooted Ancient Protector continuing to finish things off here as we're looking at dual Ancient of War and now a Tree of Life being established by Moon. KraV trying to come back the other way, perhaps catch this base here. We are looking at do we have no additional fortified armor? Keeper of the Grove trying to get resurrected at the Altar of Elders. No real corpses available for more Rod of Necromancy, even if he had the Rod of Necromancy, as there is a pig right there. All right, coming back around, going to go after this Tree of Life, try to rack up damage before much can be done. Death Knight quickly gets the Death Coil off, but will not get enough experience for level 5. Meanwhile, Huntress and Ancient Protector cleaning up the remainder of this base down to the south, as everything has pretty much been transitioned over to the expansion here. Ancient Protector is going to go ahead, eat some trees, and then root themselves in position to try and take down what is now the main base of KraV. Ancient Protector, well, going to be dealing damage against this Crypt Fiend here. Main army now making its way back down to the south. We're going to be seeing the death of this one Tomb of Relics down to the south, as the Altar of Darkness has already been resummoned but cannot train up that Lich just quite yet. Ghouls on the lumber line here. Death Knight now making the charge down off from the north. Are we going to be looking at eventual Slaughterhouse? Most definitely, as the Death Knight does sit at level 5. That is going to be a very, very big burst heal, as the Forest Troll Shadow Priest need to retreat back. They cannot take that much damage. 2 volleys and that Forest Troll Shadow Priest is pretty much dead already. Death Knight, Death Coil onto a Ghoul, saving that Ghoul there. Death Knight now looking to finish up these Ancient Protectors, and it looks like that will work, as the Keeper of the Grove is finally back out onto the battlefield. 29 supply compared to 37. KraV holding on to this game, actually having the tech, or equal in tech, has the hero level advantage and the army size advantage, as all these Ancient Protectors are now getting cleaned up. One Ancient Protector on the bottom left-hand side of the map could perhaps, try and set up another base there eventually, as the Death Knight still sitting on plenty of mana, 212, and that is a level 3 Death Coil 13 minutes into this game. This last Ancient Protector gonna get cleaned up here pretty easily using these Crypt Fiends, and with now a large number of Crypt Fiends, Huntresses are no longer going to be able to win the fight by themselves. Coming back around, Keeper of the Grove clearing out Goblin Merchant shops now. 34 supply over 50 compared to 41 over 50, as Moon is looking for strategies. Is he going to be going for Druids of the Talon, Fairy Dragons? Also a very, very high possibility able to attack from the skies. However, the Crypt Fiends could cause some major problems as well. Death Knight picking up a Scroll of Town Portal and a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability, has that Potion of Greater Mana ready to go, as the Lich is now out onto the battlefield. Still no Slaughterhouse, as KraV is rebuilding his city from the ground up. Meanwhile, Keeper of the Grove, Staff of Teleportation, Potion of Greater Mana. Here we go, looking for options. Going to try and dive on in, go after some of these units. And oh, that was a miscalculation. The Treants, only 2 were summoned, even though it was level 2 Treants. He did not grab enough of the trees, and only 2 trees were targeted right there. All right, Treants now going to get cleaned up between all of these towers here before a single Acolyte even falls. back off to the north, Tree of Life trying to, well, get rooted for that better armor. Meanwhile, Demon Hunter is nearby as well, and that's going to be a problem as the Tree of Life now currently just constantly pressed by an Ogre Mauler, preventing it from rooting and getting that fortified armor. 7 armor, however, a little bit higher armor with that Nature's Blessing upgrade, but it may not matter as you see it fall. Units on the move once again. The Lich sitting at level 1, but does have +8 auto attack, Potion of Mana, and has, well, Frost Nova at the ready as Ancient Protector's now going to get cleaned up once more. Meanwhile, back down to the south side here, Fairy Dragons and Huntresses working alongside that Demon Hunter, hoping to get to level 2 for, well, I don't believe we'll actually see Immolation, just perhaps a bit of evasion as that frontline ability. All right, Mud Golem actually taking quite a beating. If that, yeah, cannot let the Ancient of Wonders actually take down this Mud Golem as building after building slowly getting cleaned up here. More Fairy Dragons still going to get trained up once more as Huntresses are, well, trying to figure out what is the best opportunity to launch a counter attack. KraV looking to rebuild the bottom left-hand side. Already has Blight there, able to easily summon up and a Ziggurat and haunt that gold mine. There goes an Entangle onto a 4-Stroll Berserker. Not enough damage to deal with the Fairy Dragon. So many units in the air as the Demon Hunter now trying to retreat back. Death Knight down. Death Knight has plenty of mana. There's a Death Coil, but a Potion of Invulnerability used in time there. All right, Lich now trying to stay away. Doesn't have, oh, no, does have the Potion of Mana. Uses it in time as the Lich does end up staying alive. All right, Demon Hunter down to 105 hit points. Death Coil finishes off the Demon Hunter as the Lich uses a Potion of Mana in time. All right, exchanges going back and forth, but the Fairy Dragons causing some major problems as the Fairy Dragons, well, are going to go after that Lich again. And Death Knight doesn't have enough Death Coil, yes, does get the Death Coil off again, but no easy way to attack those air units as air superiority really is becoming a problem. However, Keeper of the Grove now once more in danger as the Lich does have enough for a Frost Nova again. A Potion of Healing used right there to try and stay alive as it would have been, well, around 100 hit points without it. Death Knight now making its way back down. We're looking across here. Spirit Tower, Nerubian Tower, ghouls wandering back and forth. Slaughterhouse now churning out those obsidian statues for, well, more mana on the Death Knight and that Lich. All right, making its way back down to the south side here. Obsidian statue slowly giving mana back to the Death Knight and the, well, Death Knight and the Lich once more. Lich still looking strong as we are looking at a fully saturated main gold mine now once again for KraV. Expansions only, the expansion of Moon only has 3 minutes of mining left, or excuse me, the main base of Moon only has 3 minutes of mining left. So Moon needs to make some sort of power play here if he hopes to, well, stay in this game. No one has the clear advantage overall as the Demon Hunter needs to join in on this battle. Looks like this Ancient of War going to end up getting taken down at the hands of creeps. And that was a misstep all over. All right, Demon Hunter now out onto the battlefield. Fairy Dragons looking to retreat back. Only armor upgrades for the Crypt Fiends. Keeper of the Grove currently invisible. Perhaps it's going to try and pick up some useful items overall, as it does have a Mana Stone right now and currently just hiding off to the side. All right, going after that Forest Troll High Priest. Now going after the Forest Troll Berserker. Is any items to drop? No, there is not. Keeper of the Grove just keeping track of this undead army. Tree of Life being rebuilt. Meanwhile, Death Knight, Lich looking to clear out this Ogre Lord creep camp. I believe the healing wards, there are only 2 charges now. So with only 2 charges here, not nearly as game changing. However, that little bit of extra heal on that Death Knight should help overall. Or is he just outside of range? He might actually be outside of range right there, as his hit points are dropping and not recovering nearly as fast as I would expect them to if he was next to that healing ward now. Anyways, coming back on through, gonna finish off things as we see a Scroll of Town portal back into the what it was originally the expansion here, trying to save some things, and there is two mana flares after webs. The webs keeping those fairy dragons in place, and those obsidian statues cannot be continually just trying to use their abilities. They're just going to get mana flared to death if they are not careful. Both now taken down, but that was a pretty bad misstep by KraV to not turn off those autocast features on those obsidian statues, allowing them to suffer significant amounts of damage. All right. Treants looking to finish off a handful of acolytes. Meanwhile, Tree of Life nearly completed. Then we will be going into that entangling of that gold mine as we see another Tree of Life coming across from Moon. Moon, always one to try and look for opportunities to set up bases. Meanwhile, Moon does have goblin sappers off to the side here, ready to lay waste to any of these buildings inside what is currently the main base. All right, are we going to see some damage get racked up here? Piercing damage, acolytes trying to repair, trying to fend this all off. Not going to work out well as the fairy dragons are going after these acolytes individually, even with their medium armor and their faster regeneration rate. Not going to be able to, hold back the wave of this night elf air army against undead. Entangling of the gold mine, about 1/4 of the way done. Wisps already on the move over to saturate that new gold mine once that job is completed, as now KraV is in a similar situation that Moon was in just moments ago, with only about 3 minutes of mining left before he's going to be operating on 0 bases. All right, entangling of that gold mine. Lich gonna get a Frost Nova off. No, there's a Frost Nova off. There goes one, there goes another. All the wisps pretty much getting cleaned up already as the Tree of Life tries to fend off the attack here. Lich is nearby, could get in some more damage onto that wisp as well. There's another Frost Nova taking it down. All right, Tree of Life in danger here. Meanwhile, we're looking at these buildings getting cleaned up. And is this going to turn into a true base race scenario as acolytes are going to get cleaned up here? There goes a Scroll of Town portal, couple of webs being brought down, mana burn, as we see a quick exit by Moon, who is currently behind 41 supply compared to 70, but KraV is still doing at least a little bit of mining while Moon has no choices or options. Tree of Ages making its way back over. Tree of Life regenerating some hit points, eating some trees, and trying to entangle that gold mine for a second time. Demon Hunter, meanwhile, trying to keep the pressure on as Moon sets up a 3 o'clock base during all of these crazy shenanigans. One Ziggurat taken down. Treants are now getting summoned up. KraV may not be able to fend off this attack here, as we're looking at damage getting racked up onto this haunted gold mine now. Black Citadel, we do not see a third hero as of yet, as we're looking at the fairy dragons just currently being able to poke apart pretty much all of these armies. There's a mana burn, death coil, frost nova. However, a quick staff of preservation saves, as the Tree of Ages is still transitioning over to try and get this gold mine again. All right, back and forth. KraV still having a slight lead, but Moon seemingly having being able to make momentum out of nothing. The hit and run tactics taking a toll on KraV, as KraV, once more needs to re-haunt this gold mine to get the last 1,500 gold out of there. Meanwhile, wisps are now saturating at this 4 o'clock position, and sometimes all it takes is you being in enemy territory and your opponent does not know it for this gold mine to actually start paying for itself. We'll see how much gold can get out of there in just a moment. Meanwhile, fairy dragons are purposely staying nearby enough to keep KraV inside his base. This is absolutely beautiful, as both sides are going to engage. There's a death coil there. Are we going to see an entangle? No, we are not. Lich with the potion of lesser invulnerability and a death knight nearby can take a lot of damage be the target of a lot of focus before it really is in danger. Death Coil, Frost Nova onto the Keeper of the Grove. Keeper of the Grove trying to retreat away. Death Knight still nearby, has a potion of mana, and we're going to see that Keeper of the Grove try to retreat back. Death Knight could use that potion of mana and then try and finish things off here on that Keeper of the Grove. There's another shot. Potion of Lesser Invulnerability, however, would be used as that, potion of invisibility used instead. But what was that? The Death Coil still found and taking down that Keeper of the Grove, one step ahead of his opponent and finishing off the Demon Hunter as well. Demon Hunter and Keeper of the Grove fall at level 5, level 3. Major momentum shift back to KraV as KraV seemingly takes a huge advantage and now has level 3 Unholy Aura for that faster movement speed. Fairy Dragons purposely, it's trying to stay close by. Meanwhile, we're looking at the Death Knight trying to go after this Tree of Ages. 43 supply compared to 49 as the heroes are now getting resurrected as well. Keeper of the Grove resurrected back at the tavern and now going to be draining those Moonwells, but we do have full saturation and already 1,000 gold mined from here as this gold mine still, churning things up, churning things out respectively. 43 supply compared to 49. Death Knight needs to make its way back down. Where is the army? As we see, the Fairy Dragons coming back across, going after the Acolytes. KraV still sitting on one base, going to be in a little bit of problems. Meanwhile, we're looking at, the burrowed Crypt Fiends able to stay alive. We have Dust of Appearance, and the Dust of Appearance should have been able to finish off some of these Crypt Fiends here, as we see a Scroll of Town Portal in order to get away. Huntress trying to finish off a Crypt Fiend, but that is not going to work. 40 supply compared to 49. KraV now upside down on supply, unable to train up any new units, and only has 1,000 gold left in the bank. KraV finally scouting out this 4 o'clock expansion, and he's probably surprised and not surprised all at the same time. Moon setting up a secret base and able to get nearly 2,000 gold out of this gold mine. Nearly 2,000 gold out of this gold mine here, as it's still mining pretty regularly. Back across here, we're looking at the Fairy Dragons trying to, clean things up as the Keeper of the Grove picks up some more items. What is going to be that items? Gauntlets of Ogre Strength +3, a little bit more survivability on that Demon Hunter. Keeper of the Grove could also use a bit of survivability as well. Once more, Moon never found a base where never found a gold mine he never wanted. He didn't want to try and set up a Tree of Life from, and that seems to be true for this map once again, as all of these tree ants are going to feed more experience to that Lich, who is still far away from level 5. Death Knight, however, very close, or getting closer to level 7, and we may actually see Animate Dead in this game, as we see War Song Battle Drums, a 7% damage increase for the entire undead army. Units on the move. Fairy Dragon have that True Shot aura. Keeper of the Grove now making its way over. Tree Ants now making their way over as well. We're trying to put in pressure on this base that only has 24 minutes or 24 seconds of mining left. Off to the north here, more mining going on. 48 supply compared to 46. Who's going to win out ahead? KraV looking to take down this Tree of Ages, and with this Tree of Ages gone, he will have a definitive advantage with these 2 Obsidian statues or 3 Obsidian statues still providing mana and hit points for the undead heroes and all of these Crypt Fiends. We may be looking at some detonations as well. Repairs could be underway as this Tree of Ages is about to get taken down. Meanwhile, Fairy Dragons, a lot of piercing damage. Tree Ants trying to finish things off. Death Knight has not taken down the Tree of Ages. Tree of Ages down to 198 hit points, and it will end up surviving the army's trading places, as more mining could still be done by KraV. 2 Acolytes still surviving here. Meanwhile, we are looking at entangling of the gold mine at now the 10 o'clock spot by Moon. Moon pretty much trying to be everywhere all at once. One Crypt Fiend is going to spot that location off to the north. Tree of Ages was looking to clear and enjoy a little bit more hit points, as we see the units now retreat back. Back down to the south side here. Tree of Life absorbing or taking a little bit of damage. Death Knight Lich now making its way across as well, as the Fairy Dragons are hoping to race against KraV's army. Undead here. It looks as though this Tree of Life is going to get shut down before any real mining gets underway. Meanwhile, Black Citadel, 40 supply, Keeper of the Grove looking to finish off all of these buildings, all of these Fairy Dragons with 1/1 upgrades and True Shot Aura dealing significant damage. Undead army now trying to make its way back down here. Fairy Dragons looking to shut off this Tree of Life, make sure no more mining can happen. But it may not turn out well, as the Death Knight and the Lich are back out here on the battlefield trying to go after the Keeper of the Grove. Keeper of the Grove does have a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. Fairy Dragons are focusing down quite a bit. There we are. Demon Hunter is here as well. Obsidian Statue is going to provide a little bit of healing. Frost Armor on that Lich, slowing his death, as well as the Fairy Dragons are continuing to poke apart as much as possible. Crypt Fiends now trying to web down some of these targets. One Obsidian Statue quickly getting poked apart, as the Fairy Dragon's piercing damage relatively effective against those Obsidian Statues. Another mana burn, and KraV is in trouble, as that Lich is now down to 200 hit points with no easy way to get mana, as the Obsidian Statues are separated from those heroes. Fairy Dragon still making their way back around. Demon Hunter trying to finish things off here. Mana Burn keeping things at bay, as we're looking at the Keeper of the Grove. Perhaps going to try to get an Entangle off. Or maybe the Entangle, but a Potion of Invulnerability following it up right there. Obsidian Statue, Mana Burned, and now getting taken down, as the Fairy Dragons are slowly getting picked up or getting taken down, but not as fast as KraV is losing his units, as he's now down to 34 supply compared to 43. Death Knight falls. That is going to be the game. And Moon outlasting KraV in this weird tower rush base race scenario that I simply could not have predicted. That is the game right there. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let's take a look at what the final scores are going to be. Final hero score, KraV having the higher hero score, but still unable to get away with the victory, even though he took down the Keeper of the Grove at level 5 and Demon Hunter at level 3. Beautiful job by Moon, being able to just set up bases where his opponent was not expecting them and mine freely with those hit and run tactics. Until next time.